My name is Leighton DeTora. I'm a practicing attorney and I specialize in cases where people are injured. That includes medical malpractice, nursing malpractice, workplace injuries, auto injuries, and anything where people suffer a physical injury. So let me first say that we are all taught by our parents not to be careless so as to avoid injuring people. When that concept comes into the law, it's called negligence. Negligence, when applied to professionals like doctors, lawyers, dentists, nurses, is called malpractice. When a claim is made against a doctor or, in your case, a nurse for malpractice, the person making the claim has to prove certain things. How they do that is called the burden of proof, and it always falls upon the person making the claim to bring the burden of proof before the body. The burden of proof that would be applicable to a nursing claim is as follows. The plaintiff would have to prove the degree of knowledge or skill possessed or the degree of care ordinarily exercised by a reasonably skillful, careful, and prudent healthcare professional engaged in a similar practice under the same or similar circumstances. That is the burden of proof. In one case, a client of mine, then deceased, went to the emergency room with terrible pain in his side and back. He was told to go home because it was probably a chiropractic issue and that he should see his chiropractor the next day. He came back later in severe pain and was told the same thing. Finally, somebody took his temperature and they realized that his temperature was up. They took an x-ray and found that he had pneumonia and that one lung was almost fully compromised. At that point, they admitted him to a floor. They inserted an intercostal catheter. And when they took the x-ray to make sure that there was not a pneumothorax, they realized that his other lung had begun to fill up. During the night, the nurse on duty, in her notes, recorded that his heartbeat was accelerating and then slowing, that he was gray, that he was sweaty, and that he had a fever. She never reported it to anybody, but yet chronicled it all night long, and that chronicle became a description of the man's decease. They found him dead in his bed at 5:30 in the morning. And one of the issues there is that Marcaine, which is what they were providing for pain relief, suppresses respiration, which of course causes the heart to accelerate to try to make up for the lack of oxygen, resulting in a heart attack and death. Point is, the nurse should have reported that to somebody and not wait till somebody happened to discover it. Another area of concern for you when you become nurses is that of unprofessional conduct. And that would be liability imposed under the regulations for the state of Vermont. And those are enforced by the Office of Professional Regulation under the Secretary of State's office. And they define unprofessional conduct in many ways. The one most often used is failing to exercise independent professional judgment in the performance of licensed activities when that judgment is necessary to avoid action repugnant to the obligations of the profession. So we think back to the nurse who chronicled the man's death through the night and did nothing about it. And how you would become advised of a claim under that is that you would get first a letter and then a call from the Office of Professional Regulation asking you to meet with them to give them a statement. Do not do it. Immediately when you hear from them, call me, call your attorney, but do not meet with them because they are not trying to do nice things for you. And an attorney and your insurance carrier together will guide you through that process.